It's the most beautiful, ugliest, most functional, most ass backwards just lifestyle of them all, and that's why I love things like this, is because it really starts to show people what we've got underneath it all. The media has no idea. It's things like this is what's really going to show you kind of like the culture of it all.
The import tuner culture, it's come a long way, like, since, God forbid, the Fast and Furious. There's so many different types of people. Like, you have the drifters, you have the domestic guys, you have the import guys, and it's come a long way. To me, it's come pretty good.
I guess right now, one of the biggest things about like the import culture scene in general is like the whole being unique thing. You got everybody from, think about it, import in general is anywhere that's not, well, here. You've got your Volkswagen crowd, you've got your Honda and Acura crowd, and then that pretty much rounds it about, because if you got a Kia or a Hyundai, you got only like 3 friends anyway. You don't really have a whole lot of people to hang out with. You got, it's all about trend setting. You got people like the Volkswagen crowd start this rusted hoods thing, and then as soon as a Honda kid does it, it's a big deal. And then as soon as a Honda kid goes low stretch wheels, then that's a big deal. It's just, it's a contest. And I think it's funny because now, instead of just being imports in general versus kind of like the American domestic market, now you've got each import group against each other against the domestic market. But it's basically just, it's a fashion show at this point. It's who can look cooler, who can spend the most money, and who still lives at home with their parents' house while doing it. It tends to be a little bit of it's a culture shock.
It's definitely way different than it was like 5 years ago, when everything was, you had to have clean paint, you had to have the same type of wheels as everybody else, had to have the same exhaust, stuff like that. Project cars. I think everybody starts at one and figures out, I hate this, I don't want to do it anymore, and then they fall in love with it. This is my 3rd project. It took me a while to find the right one, and this is the one I love. I love it. And it's been nothing but a money pit, but it's worth every single penny.
Project cars can be anything from something purpose-built. You got people that literally don't care about the body and are just building these like drift missile sleds, to people like me that built a car once and crashed into a guardrail doing 80 and realized like, wow, this thing saved my life. I guess I got to bring it back, and now you got this thing. Wow. But it integrates itself into the culture because it really truly shows the type of personality that people have. Like, I got that real subtle thing going on, but it's got big, obnoxious over wheels. So it's still got a little bit of look at me. It's got a little bit of motor to back it up. It's kind of a well-rounded little experience.
Everybody kind of builds it for themselves now. They used to build it, everybody used to build it, I guess, just to match everybody else, or like a car that they saw in a magazine, but now everything's more individualized, and I mean, you can pretty much do whatever you want. There's such a range of parts companies and stuff you can use, and everybody does shit for themselves.
Are there people that literally will never stop? Sure. And I think that's what makes this culture, especially as beautiful as it is, because you could be the weekend driver, or you could be a daily driven monster, or you can be, you know, a racetrack fiend. We all kind of still have that same like blood group and the respect for each other. So it makes it kind of cool.
There's just so many different ways people can go now. There's people who stay B Series, people go K Series with Hondas, Boost, all motor, supercharged, like everybody does different stuff now. So some people do it for shows, some people do it for the track.
Oh Christ, racing. It depends how far we can get without getting in trouble over here. Racing is one of those things, like it's always going to be sanctioned and unsanctioned. You know, you got your drag strips and your road race courses and your drift circuits and so on and so forth. But the dead and honest truth is the fun of it comes from that thrill of, like, you know, back in an industrial park somewhere, or like dropping rolls from like on the highway, or, you know. The fun of it is the adrenaline. If you get your adrenaline, you get your fix off on a racetrack, good for you. If you're one of those people that has to do it on a highway, however much you're encouraged not to say good for you, we've all done it, we've all been there. Nobody's ever going to be holy enough to be like, well, I've never street raced in my life.
I don't street race, don't street race.
Okay, sure. That's why the cops still come after us. You know, it's always going to be a dilemma, and it's always going to be an issue. And just as long as people are still going to get in fights at bars, people are still going to race their cars on the street. It's the goal and opportunity of it all.
When I was little, I used to go to like the street races down in Philly all the time, but they don't really do that anymore, so like people have to find a different way, and that was illegal and people were getting hurt, so now everyone takes it to the track, and there's a lot of like autocross events that I've been to that I take pictures of, and a lot of like track events like Redline Time Attack and stuff, and right there they have HPDE, high performance driving events, where anyone can take their car. It's a couple $100 and you get to use it as much as you want.
I would love to do time attack. That's what interests me most. Drifting, definitely going car out this year, but I really want to try to do a time attack sometime within the next 3 years. It's just a lot of fun. Let's go balls out as fast as you can, beat at the fastest time. It's great.
People can build their car and then experience exactly what they build it for, so it's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.